And we'll now speak to Irene Khan, who's the UN Special Rapporteur on the freedom of opinion and expression. She's joining us from Geneva. Welcome to Al Jazeera, ma'am. First, I'd like you to comment on what the Minister of Information and Broadcasting of Bangladesh had to say when he said it's not the government that is responsible for the violence. It's, in fact, third-party actors.
Well, it sounds to me like disinformation rather than information. Of course, the government is responsible for security, and the government has been handling this very badly. There has been a violent crackdown with police and military on the ground. Government ministers have made inflammatory statements while peaceful protests were going on, asking government-affiliated groups to attack the students, which then happened. So it's a very bloody, horrible mess now. And the government has to restore security, but they have to restore it keeping in mind the human rights of the people involved. That's what we are asking for in our press release.
Yeah.
We are also asking...
Yeah, here it is. Yeah. I have your press release right in front of me, and you've added your name along with a number of experts. As you just said, you're calling for an immediate end to the violent crackdown, as you describe it, and full accountability for human rights violations. On that issue of accountability, how do you see that happening? What are you calling for? What are the steps that need to be taken?
Well, given all the broken promises that this government has made on human rights, the false assurances that have been given, and the wrong information that is being floated now, there is no trust in the government. People don't trust it. It's very obvious. And we are calling for an independent, impartial, thorough investigation into what has happened. The government is blaming other people. Others are blaming the government. We need a full, impartial investigation. But since there is no trust in the government, it has to be done with the international community. We are calling on the government to invite the UN to conduct such an investigation, to find out what went wrong, to take responsibility, and to hold the perpetrators to account.
And just on that call, have you received a response from the Bangladeshi government yet?
No, we have provided this statement to them as well. And this morning, the High Commissioner for Human Rights himself has also put out a press release where he too is offering his services, the UN services, and we are waiting for an answer from the government.
From what you've seen, ma'am, if you can just put this into context for us and tell us, in your opinion, to what extent has there been a decline or not of human rights in Bangladesh recently?
Well, there's been a disastrous decline. This is not something that just suddenly popped up. For years, institutions are being undermined. There have been other clashes in the past. We've seen an election that a lot of people have called was rigged. There's a great deal of dissatisfaction, discontent on the ground with corruption, mismanagement, with the police law enforcement, for example, regular stories of torture. Even now, we are hearing stories from people about journalists being threatened for reporting, about students disappearing, about people turning up and just picking up whoever they suspect and taking them away, torturing them, leaving them out. Sometimes they're disappearing. That means they're killed. So in this kind of lawless situation, the country cannot continue. Right. Bangladesh was described as a development miracle. Where has that miracle gone? It's gone down this drain of human rights disasters. And now we are asking the government, one way forward is through this impartial, independent, thorough investigation with the help of the United Nations or the international community.
Irene Khan, the UN Special Rapporteur on the freedom of opinion and expression, thank you for speaking to us from Geneva.
Thank you.